You're not living in the Creator's time. From the 7-day week to holidays and New Year's, nearly everything you've been taught about time is man-made. But Yahawah gave us rhythm, a calendar, not based on popes, planets, or politics, but on his creation order. In this video, we expose how time was broken and how the wrong calendar pulls you further from covenant every single day.
Yeah, the thought I just had when you were just saying there is we've seen the effort of man in the form of nations and empires make an effort to change the appointed time of the Sabbath, change the calendar, change, because they don't have that same loyalty. And then there is, when you say that's a sign, if someone is willing to kind of align with that, again, it goes back to that ancient way of revering him, right? Because the modern way is to come up with your own, and that's what, I'm just going to say it, Rome has done with changing appointed times, changing the weekdays, changing the calendar, and saying Sunday is now, what they call it, the Lord's Day, knowing that they removed the observance of the seventh day and all that. So, but we see the blueprint laid out in Scripture as to how they will come and try to do that. Scripture warns us of that in the book of Daniel and in other places. So I just think it's interesting that we're acknowledging the sign element, the sign of who belongs to him. This is one of the ways that he makes it clear the loyalty. And that's something that there's a rhythm to all the things that he does that with, because it puts us back into that conversation of truly delighting in him. So that's the thoughts I had.
Yeah, facts. Go ahead.
I love what you just said, brother. And because you said something is they don't want to. Well, they don't. I think it's because they don't want to. This is all intentional, even with the changing of the names, changing of the dates, the changing of all things that belong to Yah. So I think when we become cognizant of that, then we can say this is intentional.
No doubt. And it breaks, as was said earlier, the pattern. We're talking about the rhythm. You just mentioned a blueprint, and all of what man does breaks the pattern, breaks the rhythm. It distorts the blueprint that's been given originally. It changes everything. And, it's like remodeling a house, remodeling an office building, etc. You remodel it, you change it. And that's what happened. That's what's happening with the word. It's being remodeled, or that's what has happened. It's been remodeled, and it's not the original anymore. And that's where we come in with following the Spirit and allowing the restoration to take place. Love those comments. So here in Jubilees, not going to read all the verses. You guys can do that on your own. But I want to point out two specific verses here. And it becomes clear who guards, who protects the Shabath. And it's also interesting what this is referring to. So verses 18 and 19 of Jubilees, Yahawah Ba'alayim. And so the meaning, again, start breaking these down and looking at the meanings behind them, they're just so much deeper. But anyway, don't want to go down a rabbit hole on that. Verses 18 and 19 says this: and he gave us a great sign, the Shabath, that we should work 6 days, but keep Shabath on the seventh day from all work. And then verse 19, and he set it apart unto himself as a sign, that they should guard the Shabath with us on the seventh day, to eat and drink and to bless him. The interesting thing about verse 19, and you guys can go read all the verses, but it says that they should guard the Shabath, they being Yahawah, that they should guard the Shabath with us. You guys catch that? That they should guard the Shabath, they being Yahawah, that they should guard the Shabath with us on the seventh day. Who's the us? Us is all those dwelling in heaven with Yahawah. Heaven observes the seventh day as Shabath. To this day, heaven observes Shabath. Yahawah didn't stop observing Shabath in Genesis 1-2. Continues to this day. Just want to say that all those who are set apart are the ones who truly observe the Shabath and do it in a way that Yahawah has designed. How does that hit for you? That heaven observes Shabath to this day.
Mm.
And man is chosen not to, but heaven does.
It's one of those, if there's scripture that states, it's not actually scripture, it was a song. It may be in scripture, but I don't recall it right now. If the stars, the sun, the moon, the earth, all creation praises you, so will I.
Mm.
It's a beautiful song. I don't think I ever did the research to find out if it was scripturally correct, but why would I, well, here's the scripture. Even if you don't praise me, the rocks will
cry out.
There it is.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to figure. That's probably the one it's referring to. But yeah, that's powerful.
So I think that we should be doing what creation is doing, because there's another scripture that says all of creation are waiting on the sons of man to acknowledge Yahawah. I'm paraphrasing.
Yes.
That's
and Yahawah's waiting too. He's waiting on us because he's one that made the appointment, right, for us to show up. The appointed time is an appointment. He made the appointment for us to show up, and it's up to us. We have a choice. Creation, does what creation does, everything else in creation. But man, being a free moral agent, has a choice. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to chime in and say, when you asked, how does it hit me? I think of if heaven is observing that to this day, it's a reminder of what the kingdom's about. And it brings me back to the prayer where we're saying, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, as it is in Shemayim. So, and when we're instructed to seek first the kingdom, I keep going back to the word culture. What is the culture of the kingdom? And these things that we're discussing gives us an inkling on that culture. It gives us an inkling on the rhythms of the kingdom culture, which is so different from the world and what they've established as culture. So that's something that makes me feel okay for it to look and feel different, because it really is. Fundamentally, it's different than what the world thinks of as, the world's going to be blown away when the kingdom culture is made established here on earth. You know what I mean? And so anyway, I just say all that because when I'm seeking first the kingdom, it's almost like I have to be willing for my mind to be a little offended at how different it looks from what we've been taught here on earth.
Much different. Much different. In fact, it's just never addressed. In my life in quote unquote religion, never addressed. Period. Not this. And it's all over scripture. It's been never addressed.
Ditto.
Yeah. I mean, and once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. That's the beauty. Then that opens up our mind. This is when we really have a renewed mind, as it talks about in Romans. This renewed mind allows us to absorb more of the truth. And if we're unwilling to renew our mind, we can't absorb new truth. So just a seed for thought. All right. So the Shabath itself, it's not just a rest day, but a signpost. So what does it do? It tells us who we are, where we're going, and whom we serve. It's the foundation of identity that separates us from the world. That's what Shabath does. Absolutely separates us from the world. It anchors Yahawah's calendar. So the weekly rhythm begins because of this day. The week doesn't begin on this day. It ends on this day, but it sets us up for the coming week. And then it is an eternal seal. It's embedded in creation. It's embedded in the law. It's embedded in prophecy. It's embedded everywhere. And like I just said just a few minutes ago, once you see it, you can't unsee it to know that it's tied to everything, and in more ways than what we have even talked about today. Now, we talked about it at the men's conference, how this rhythm of 7 and days and so forth, how it's all tied together. Absolutely everything is tied together, but it's part of his rhythm. And next week, we actually get into this rhythm of 7s, but there is a rhythm. There is this pattern. There is this blueprint, this piggybacking on what you guys have already said, that's in place for us to follow. Just quickly on this one, this is just a visual for us. It's what it is, what Shabath is. It's a day Yahawah himself rested and set apart. What it means to bear his sign visibly in time. So this is a visible thing that's done to align with the sign that he has created, the sign of rest. And why does it matter? Because it's important to him. Man has tried to manipulate this day, just like man has tried to manipulate everything. And manipulation is skillfully control or influence, often unfairly, dishonestly, or to someone's own advantage, like manipulating public opinion about things, manipulating accounts, etc. But this is a skillful control, and the enemy has skillfully manipulated this day. So how do we walk it out? Well, we prepare in advance, and we guard it from work, business, entertainment. We practice joyful delight in Yahawah's, in his scripture, through his scripture, praise, rest, everything becomes about him. And before diving deeper into this, because you guys will have some comments on the next slide, I'm sure. But before diving deeper, just a word on preparation. I will say this for me. When I prepare, because the scripture tells us to prepare on the 6th day. So the 6th day becomes a day of preparation. We know that this preparation is important because that's what was done from the beginning. Preparation, preparing. Even for the Passover, there was a day of preparation before the Passover occurred so that they would be fully prepared. But for me, I prepare meals, prepare food in advance, and I do no cooking on this day because that's what the scripture tells us, is that there's no fire, there's no cooking on this day. Now, I'll tell you what I do, because I prepare, and if it's a meal that requires heating up, I will use the microwave to heat it up, but I don't cook it. It's heat it up. So I believe that's still in alignment, but you guys can tell me if that sounds kind of weird, but I do that, or I'll eat some other type of cold meal, but I don't cook on that day. I don't fire up the stove. I don't fire up the oven. I don't actually cook anything on that day. So, but on this next slide, this is the one that really kind of takes us there. If time has been broken, then the Shabath has been stolen. But it was never just about rest. It was always about identity. In part 4, we'll uncover the real meaning behind Shabath, what it seals, why it sets you apart, and how it marks Yahawah's people. Click to watch the next. Shabath is more than rest. It's identity. It's not just a day. It's who you are.